This is Denver Latimer. I'm the director of The Living Doll in the Twilight Zone.
I'm Epi, Steve Epperson, and I'm the lead actor, Eric Streeter, in The Living Doll.
I'm Mark McGinnis, technical director for The Living Doll and the Will a Real Martian Please Stand Up, 2 Twilight Zone episodes currently playing up at the Blue Room Theater.
Through May 16th, I believe, Friday and Saturday nights at 10:30.
We had this brilliant gobo made for lights so we could put the Twilight Zone logo anywhere we'd want for all of our late night shows. They don't make dolls that are with pull strings anymore. They all have push buttons on their hands or their heads or whatever. So we had to mime the pull string for the show, and it really comes out well and plays well. And what we really did with this was affecting the room change and scene changes with nothing more than very severe lighting effects to leave shadow and portray how tortured the psyche of Eric Streeter, the main character of A Living Doll, is.
Yeah, that's Epi, who's sitting down in the chair there in the picture. He plays Eric Streeter, who's tormented by a lot of demons inside and outside of his home, and his daughter there on the right brings home a doll, and that's sort of the catalyst for this downward spiral storyline that is The Living Doll.
Eric Streeter has gone so broke that he's sold off things like his daughter's bed, and he has this chair that once was a nice, very nice office chair, but now has been beat down. But it essentially is his throne in his home, and it's where his domain in his study.
Kind of lurks there.
He definitely lurks there, drinking beer and smoking cigarettes in the dark. He broods.
The doll, true or not, live or not, deranged or not, is another female addition to this family. It's in the form of an $80 doll.
And I also want to add that the picture of Sabrina and Emerald here, who they're looking at the doll like it's the baby Jesus or something, and so yeah. I have to say that I can't take real credit for that. That's Mark McGinnis's lighting. You can see here kind of one of the, I guess I'd call it the sort of iconic images from the play, which is when anybody pulls the doll. Christy, played by Sabrina, speaks the doll's voice, and she raises her finger up like the child in The Shining, who is inhabited by a similar sort of awareness or shining, I guess is what Stanley Kubrick and Stephen King would call it, which is where you can kind of see through the eyes of another person. So Christy kind of has that power, that talent, and she's doing that in this scene right here. And they're listening to the doll talk, but it's really kind of their daughter talking to them.
So here we really went ahead, if you'll notice that the plates and the tableware, as well as the chairs and everything else on stage is, other than the doll and the actors, has been painted black. And this is really partially to emphasize not the props and the set pieces for the show, but to emphasize the actors and what's going on in each individual scene. Where we've used light in very focused, tight areas on the stage, and all the actors do to leave the room is simply step out of the light without ever leaving the stage to suggest...
Well, it suggests that they are listening in on each other's conversations, that they're like all these secrets that they're keeping from each other, but at the same time, everyone can kind of is kind of eavesdropping on everyone else. So you sort of have this web of secrecy and revealment. And so when someone turns around, they're suddenly revealed in the light.
I'm obviously pleading here with Sabrina, or Christy, Sabrina's 16 years old. She's playing a 10-year-old girl in this, and she does a wonderful job. Very convincingly. And so, yeah, I'm pleading with her to hand the doll over to me.
And in their pleading, it goes further, and they actually get so into their characters that on opening night they did destroy the original doll that we had. An antique doll that was loaned to the theaters.
The possession of Christy by Talkie Tina in a moment that she has with you, Epi.
And she switches over into characters too. She switches characters here, and she starts speaking in the voice of the doll and going back between her voice and the doll's voice. It's a great Twilight Zone moment.
And as she does it, it really shows the depth of her range as a young actress.
And I also want to thank Brad Moniz.
Yeah, he stepped in to help us with a few moments here. Some specific moments that he pointed out about the Twilight Zone that none of us had fully grasped yet is that a lot of the Twilight Zones, when watched on TV, a lot of the camera angles were used to accentuate the suspense and drama behind the Twilight Zone. So when you take that to stage, you're less the cameras, so you have to kind of take and make more stronger facial moments to kind of build the suspense and action.
Here you see the continuation of the creative process as we go over notes, the final notes after dress rehearsal.
We were leading up to the play. I think we honestly had about 8 days to prepare for this play. So a lot of us were up till the final night getting off book and really working as hard as it took to really kind of make sure that this play came together the best it could. We were even receiving notes after opening night. But with that said,
which you shouldn't do. You should once opening night starts, you should let the actors make it their show. But these actors, I had to give them notes.
It's an important point to make too that Craig Blamer, seen on the couch talking in Denver, he's been as the producer of the play, he's been a really big part, integral part, and he's come along at the last moment to do sound.
And he was
lacking a sound person.
That's
so
right.
He came to do sound.
Yep, and he was at every dress and tech rehearsal, and he gave great notes afterwards. I think we used all of them.
Yeah,
pretty much, right?
He's been a big part of the success of the Twilight Zone up at the Blue Room, and if anything, people to come to the play, and really you'll see his mark on each and every play.